Shabbat Shalom. Glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad Hannah's here. I'm glad Rivka's here. I'm glad that we're here. A wonderful way to bring in Shabbat. Some of you I haven't seen in a long time. Not just the world. How beautiful. And you get to be here and celebrate Shabbos with us. Thank you. I hope you feel warm and welcomed by the Lutzkers. I hope you feel the warmth of Temple Etz Chaim here with us tonight. We'll start with Shalom Aleichem. If you have the red Siddur, on page 5, towards the bottom of the page, we'll sing the words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashaveh, Malachei
I want to invite you to be here right now. And I know that's strange because you're already here, but to be here, to turn your phones off or at least on silent, to turn everything else off for a moment, just to be here. And I haven't asked this question in weeks, but it's worth asking tonight. Is there a highlight of your week that you would like to share with the community? When I say week, it could also mean month. There's no limit to the amount of time. Just something positive that happened you'd like to share. While you're thinking about it, this was an interesting and difficult week for our family. This was a little bit of a heartbreaking week for our family. There's also a lot to celebrate. And last night I took my kids out to dinner. My wife had a program at the Jewish Home for the Aging, where it was the seniors from her high school and the seniors of the community having a dance together, the senior dance. And the jazz band came and played. It was very sweet. I saw some pictures of it, and it sounds like a nice time. And I took the kids out, so it was just me and the kids. Went to a restaurant, because why not? There was a man who, by his look, looked like he would be the recently retired football coach from Westlake High School. Like if you're casting it, and if you're picturing it in your mind, that's exactly what he looked like. The recently retired football coach from Westlake High School. He was wearing Westlake High School's colors from head to toe. He was wearing Under Armour under his clothes as if he worked out that day. Everything about him said that he was a coach at Westlake High School. And I mentioned it this morning at work to Cindy, who works in our office. And she pulls up a picture on her phone and she goes, "Is this him?" I go, "That was him." She goes, "Oh yeah, he was the recently retired coach at Westlake High School." What do you know? And as he's leaving the restaurant, he sees me with my 3 kids and he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, "You're doing a great job," which is a beautiful thing. How lovely. And I thought to myself in my skeptical mind, hours before teaching my class of only women on a Friday morning, if this were a woman with her kids, would he say to this woman, "You're doing a great job"? And I asked Cindy in our office, she goes, "Oh, he would." He's the person who goes up to everybody and finds something encouraging to say to everybody. He is retired, but he stands at the bridge at Westlake High School, and as kids walk in every day, he welcomes them. Every person, he welcomes them and gives them a pat on the back. You're going to have a great day. I thought, I need to be more like that. What a beautiful thing. So one of the highlights of my week was not only my interaction with him, but then, whatever it is, 16 hours later, getting more information about his life. He's a man who has seen a hardship, but he's spent his life encouraging others. To think, I should be there. I should be there, bringing encouragement into people's lives. And maybe we should all be there, a little bit more peppy, a little bit more welcoming to everybody. And how grateful I am that we have people here who welcome us as we come in, that we can spend a little bits of our time hopefully making people feel at home. And to know that he wasn't singling me out as just a man with his kids, but he would do the same thing for everybody. I felt this very positive feeling there, and it uplifted my week, knowing that I found out later, he was also having a hard week, just like our family was. And so just a beautiful thing. Other highlights, they could be a lot shorter than that. And other positive, happy things, that you're coming into shul with something nice. Sherry. 35 days of traveling. So glad you're back.
It was wonderful, and I was able once or twice to tune into your class and also to listen to another Zoom thing that I loved. But we had the best time.
I'm so glad you treated yourself, and to see your sister on the other side of the world, and also the fact that technology exists, that you could be anywhere in the world, across the international date line, in the middle of the water, and still zoom into a class in Thousand Oaks, and we can learn together. It's pretty remarkable. Jeff, yes?
Okay, so on the same trip.
Oh, good. Same trip.
Another cut at that. So it was 30 days at sea, which means that we had 4 Shabbat services.
Oh.
And except for the week that I spent quarantined with COVID, I got to play rabbi 3 of those times.
Oh my gosh. Great. That's you're welcome. You're welcome to help lead us at any point. But what an amazing thing. And how many other people were in?
The first time there were at least 30.
Wow.
It diminished over time, but
Yeah, I get it.
I guess we had a great round.
Blame me.
Sermon.
Nothing against Jeff.
Stay where you are.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad you're back, and I'm so glad you're healthy and that you had a great time. Other highlights from the last week, month, whatever it is. I don't know. Hannah, any highlights? Yeah, what? Kim has something to say? We're just glad that your family's here. Yeah. Okay. We don't have to. Sure, Anne.
90% packed for my move for Monday. And I'm excited about moving to Marina Del Rey and the beach. As I park in the same spot, I always park on Friday night. But it's not, I probably will come to the Friday morning class on occasion, but the odds of coming on Friday night are small.
Yeah.
So it's very bittersweet this Friday morning.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you've been a regular for a very long time. And we wish you luck. And we're glad that you're still going to be part of our community in some way. Those who don't know, she got, 23 acres on the ocean in Marina Del Rey. So
That's true, with 900 other
that's fine with 900 other people, but still 23 acres on the, I joke, at Camp Alonim, it's 3,500 acres or something, and sometimes only like a few people living there. And I picture Aaron, who runs the camp, as if he himself owns 3,500 acres in the mountains of Simi Valley. But how lovely that you have this journey ahead of you. And you'll be missed when you're not here, but you'll still be here. Okay, and you'll be at the retreat with all of us. That's great. That's wonderful. Any other highlights, things you want to share? just to lower the playing field a little bit, I had a really good baba ganoush tonight. It was a really delicious. I was hoping for it, and wow. So you can also, it doesn't have to be life-changing, moving, or traveling the world. It can also just be, you ate something yummy. Hopefully you have one of those and you ate something yummy this week as well. For all of these good things, we'll say the blessing. We haven't said this blessing in a long time. We'll say this blessing together. It ends, Hatov v'hametiv. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hatov v'hametiv. Thank God there are still good things in this broken world. Page 11, Lechu Neranana.
Lechu neranena ladonai, navi alechor yishenu, nekat mafana betoda, bizmirot nariya lo, nekat mafana betoda.
Page 14 at the red arrow, Yismechu Hashamai.
So if we turn to 13, is it okay?
Sure, we're on page 13. Sing a new song to God.
Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Chadash. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Masru Meyom Leyom, Leyom Yeshuato, Sofru B'Goyim, Ma'avru B'Goyim, V'chol Ha'amim, Niflotav, Yigadol Adonai, Hulol Me'od, Norahu, Al Koel Elohim.
Now we'll conclude that psalm on page 14 at the red arrow.
Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, oh, 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 Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ.
Page 20 at the red arrow, Romemu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Behar Ka'adsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Behar Ka'adsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Behar Ka'adsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Behar Ka'adsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu.
We now invite Hannah Euro up to onto our bima towards the microphone to help lead us. Page 23, the Chadodi.
Echadodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nekabela. Echadodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'tzachor bedibor echad hishmiyanu el hamei echad Adonai echad. Shemo echad l'shemo tiferet ve'litila likrat Shabbat lechu v'nocha ki hi mekor abaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'makshivatila lechadodi likrat kala. Ene Shabbat nekabela, echadodi likrat kala. Ene Shabbat nekabela, mikdash melech ir melech hakumitzi, mitoch hafikarov lach shevet be'emek habecha vehu yachamo. Alaichem la hitna arimei afarkumi liv shibite tif artech ami al yad ben ishai bed halach mikarva el nafshi ge'ala lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Echadodi likrat kala, ene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva orech kumi uri shir daberi kevod Adonai elaich nigla lo tevoshi velo tikomi matish tochachi umatehami bach yechesu ani ami venivneta irati la echadodi likrat kala ene Shabbat nekabela echadodi likrat Kakala, Pene Shabbat Kabbalat, V'hayulim Shisa Shosayich V'rachaku Kol Mevu'ayich Yasis Alayich Elohayich Kimsos Chatan Al Kala Yamin Usmoti Froti Ve'et Adonai Ta'ariti Al Yad Ish Ben Parti Ben Yismecha Ben Agila Echadodi Likakala Ben Shabbat Kabila Echadodi Likakala Ben Shabbat Kabila.
If you're able, we rise and face the door.
Oy v'shalom ateret balakam besimcha uvetzachala toch emunei am segulo boichala Bene Shabbat Kabila Chadodi Likrat Kala Bene Shabbat Kabila.
On page 26, at the top of page 26, there's a line in Hebrew and translated into English on page 26 as well, which we say to mourners in their first week of mourning. And I turn to my family who's here, to David and to Barbara, and say these words: Hamakom inachem etchem, betoch sha'ar avelei Tzion veYerushalayim. May the divine comfort you along with all the other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. You may be seated. We're in this first week of mourning for my kids called Bubby Shirley. My kids wrote poetry to Bubby, and thank God have fond memories of her that they'll carry through their lifetime. And I hope that so many others will as well. As I mentioned at the first night of Shiva, she had the impossible job of being a teacher in the hardest places, in correctional facilities and in a Hebrew school, which are two of the hardest places to try to get kids to focus and pay attention and be present. And she changed people's lives. And we're grateful that we got to know her and share moments with her. The last psalm for Shabbat. All right, not the last psalm for Shabbat. Page 28, at the red arrow, page 28, Tzadik Katamar.
Tzadik Katamar Yifrach Eperes Balvanon Yizgeh Shetulim Bebeit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Ya'africhu Od Yenuvon Beseva Beshenim Verananim Yehiyu Lehagim Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Velo
We spend so much of our time trying to figure out which way the world is going to take us, what is going on in the world, and Psalm 93, which is on page 29, reminds us to just sit back and enjoy the ride, that sometimes we can't predict what the future will hold, but to be present for it, just to be here and let the river take us which way it will. We invite our chaplain, Benny Sommerfeld, up to lead us in this. You can sing along with us.
נאמנו מאוד. לביתך נאו הקודש, אדוני לאורך ימים, אדוני לאורך ימים, מכל המים רבים, אדירים משבריים, אדיר במרום, אדוני, אדיר במרום,
Thank you, Benny. The Talmud is a compendium, a collection of questions from 1,500 to 2,000 years ago, just a collection of questions trying to understand the world. The Talmud's big question is, why isn't the world as it ought to be? Why isn't the world better? Why is the world not what our parents told us it would be? Why is it so different, and why is it not better? Why are we living in this broken world? And it goes through 2,711 pages of questions, trying to figure out what the world is. And sometimes there are answers, and sometimes there aren't. And sometimes the questions still make sense in our world today, and sometimes they don't. And there's one question that I read this week that stands out, which is, where is Moses mentioned in the Torah? Now you should know, in case you don't know, Moses is mentioned nearly 800 times in the Torah. And the rabbis who spoke, who taught the Talmud, they knew the Torah backwards and forwards. They could quote any line. So to say, where is Moses mentioned in the Torah is a little bit strange. Where is Harry Potter mentioned in the Harry Potter series? Every page. Like, what do you mean, where is he mentioned? Except that a few things. Number one is, it's in a series of questions of, where is Esther mentioned in the Torah? Where is Mordechai mentioned in the Torah? Where is Judah the Maccabee mentioned in the Torah? And the answer for those is, they're not. They're mentioned in other parts of some of them are mentioned in other parts of the Bible. Some aren't. They're asking, where are these other people mentioned in the Torah? Where is there a hint? Where is there an inkling of them? Is there a hint of Esther somewhere in the 5 books of Moses? And I think part of what they're asking is, am I mentioned in the Torah? Am I important in the Jewish story? When we look through the Torah, can we find my story somewhere in there? Is there a hint that I exist and that I matter in the Jewish continuum? The other side of it that they're asking is where is Moses first mentioned in the Torah? Now we should know that in Exodus chapter 2, Moses' birth is spoken of, and his infancy is spoken of, and his sister taking him and putting him in a basket. We know the story pretty well. And Pharaoh's daughter reaching out and pulling him in and saving him, and Miriam being there and taking him home so that his actual mother could nurse him. We know more about Moses' life than any other character in the Torah. And what's striking is when the rabbis answer the question, where is Moses mentioned in the Torah? Their answer is not on every page. Right? They could say, pick a page between Exodus chapter 2 and the next 4 books, and he's probably mentioned. They say he's mentioned in the Torah first in Genesis chapter 6. Genesis chapter 6 is before Noah's Ark. This is the beginning of the world. There are not very many people, and definitely no Moses. They go, what do you mean he's mentioned in Genesis? And their answer is, there's a line in the book of Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, that says, since he is flesh, made of human flesh, he will live only 120 years. They go, wait, what does that have to do with Moses? They say, well, if you look at the word since, it has the same gematria, the same numerology, the same value or weight in our Torah as the word Moshe. So you can read this line as, Moshe is but a man of flesh, he will live 120 years. It's a bit of a stretch if you ask me, and some of you I can see the skepticism in your face. And at the same time, the only person in the entire Torah, the only person in the entire Bible, all 929 chapters of the Bible, there is one person who lives to be 120 years, and it's Moses. So is there a chance that this hint at the beginning of the Torah is an inkling to remind us of Moses? There's a chance. There's also saying, when he's not there, do you feel his presence? Before he even shows up, do you still hold him close? Do you feel him in that moment? And I think about it this week for two reasons. One is because this is the only Torah portion from his birth until his death that Moses isn't mentioned. 770 times between his birth and his death. And this week's Torah portion, these chapters we'll read tomorrow, and every synagogue in the world will read tomorrow, does not mention Moses. And maybe that's because the people on the ground were building a golden calf, and Moses was up at the top of Mount Sinai. And Moses felt the need to distance himself, to separate himself from this community, and he made sure that he is not mentioned in this part. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe part of it is that we believe in the separation of temple and state. And here we have Moses, who is the state. He's the head of government. He has set up the court system. He has set into place governors. He has made sure that there is a government system. And his brother Aaron is shul. His brother Aaron is ritual. His brother Aaron is the one who's making sure that there is a connection to God through some sort of rites and rituals. And so here is the separation. And as Aaron this week has his spotlight, as he gets the holy garments that he is going to wear so that he can fulfill his duties as the Kohen Gadol, as the high priest, Moses makes sure he's not part of this picture, that he is not mentioned, that there is no mixing up of the government and the religion, that these two things are separate. That might be. The other part of this is, the only other reason I think about this moment this week is because we are, I think, my counting might be wrong, something like 139 days. Somewhere around 139 days since October 7th. And I think about all of these families. I've lost count, somewhere around 100-ish families who are still setting a place at the Shabbos dinner table. For somebody whose presence they feel as much as we feel Moses in Genesis or in this week's Torah portion, and don't have them at the table. Who are still hoping and still waiting and still watching with bated breath that the news is going to change. And still they are heartbroken every day. To think of the people at the foot of Mount Sinai, waiting for Moses to come down. He said, "I'll be right back." And he went up to the top of the mountain to get the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments. And he's gone for 40 days. We know that any moment he is going to show up. On day 4, on day 6, at what point do you lose hope? At what point do you yell, "Yeush, I can't wait any longer. I need something as a replacement for me"? Or at what point are you still holding out hope that Moses will come down the mountain and be present to you? And here are all of these families. Some of them literally our family, some of them literally cousins of people in this community. The whole world might be 6 degrees of separation. The Jewish world is like 2. We are so close to each other. Think of how close we are to these people who are just there waiting to go home, and how many of these people still set a place at the table and still make the bed, are still holding out hope that their loved one will return. So that for so many of us, when somebody isn't there, their presence is literally felt. How many of us feel the loss of somebody, and we feel it in our bones? Their absence is still a presence for us. We feel that with Moses when he's gone for 1 week's Torah portion. We feel that with loved ones when they're gone, held captive, held hostage somewhere, God forbid. We feel their presence. And our job here, 9,000 miles away, is try to figure out how to bring more light into this world, how to bring kindness and goodness into this broken world, because we still have so many questions as to why the world isn't better, why the world isn't the world that our parents and grandparents promised us, why we're still fighting to bring in a little bit of hope into this world. So on this Shabbat, on every Shabbat since October 7th, we think about who's missing, and how do we feel them, and how do we make their presence felt in our family, in our community, in our Shabbos dinner table. We're going to keep working hard in our synagogue to make sure that they, thousands of miles away, are still felt, that they somehow know that they are being remembered and recalled. We're going to keep on going with our education and trying to talk to experts to understand what's going on over there so we can feel some sort of safety over here, so we can know that these people will, God willing, come home one day, get to spend Shabbos dinner with their families again. I invite now to bring a little bit more light into this world, Hannah's family, and due to popular request, also the Tepfer family, to come up here and say the blessings over the candles with us. Leah, it's good practice. It's great. To come up and join us in this moment so we can bring a little bit more light into the world, a little more hope into the world with this blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Turn to the people around you and say Shabbat Shalom. If you're able, we stand up, we rise for the call to prayer of the Mariv service as Hannah leads us, page 39 in Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
U'ma'avir yom u'mevi laila, u'mavdil ben yom u'vein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu, le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Ama'ariv aravim.
Amen. We're on page 40, reminded that the world is love, ahavat olam.
Avat olam Beit Yisrael Amchata Torah u'mitzvot u'kimu mishpatim otanu lemahadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shaveinu u'vekumeinu Nasiyah b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki heim chayeinu ve'orech yameinu u'bahem negei yamam v'layla Ki heim chayeinu ve'orech yameinu u'bahem negei yamam v'layla Ki heim chayeinu ve'orech yameinu u'bahem negei yamam v'layla Ki heim chayeinu ve'orech yameinu u'bahem negei yamam v'layla
Ve'ahavarcha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai. Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meotecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha Veshinantam levanecha, vedibarta bam, veshivtecha bebetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshachbecha, uvkumecha, uvshartam leod al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uvshartam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We'll continue in a moment on page 44 with Mi Chamocha.
Ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha ne'edar b'kodesh Torah tehillah osei fehele Torah tehillah osei fehele malchutecha ranecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ze Eli ve'lau ve'ameru Eli ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha ne'edar b'kodesh Torah tehillah osei feleh Torah tehillah osei feleh ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ונאמר כי פדרנה את יעקב וגלום יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל
Amen. On page 45, Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים Tzeitenu Uvoenu L'chaim u'shalom Me'ata v'yad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai apores sukat shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai apores sukat shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen.
Those who are able, we rise. We're on page 46. The Shamru is a declaration that this is a special day, that this Shabbos is unique. That's it. 46.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם, אות היא לעולם, אות היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות
page 46.
Yika David Kadash Shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Yamadi Rakirte Ve'amlich Malchute
V'chayechon yomecho uvchayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman karim ve'imeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba mevorach ve'olam v'olam ve'olam yitbarach
Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha Barehu Ve'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata
Tushmechata v'nechemata ta'amira ve'alma ve'imeru Amen. Beginning on page 47 is the individual Amidah. Just a moment for private, personal prayer. When you are finished, you may again be seated.
Say shalom bimroma. Huya say shalom aleinu. Ve'akol Yisrael.
Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu, Al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu, Al kol Yisrael.
Ve'imru Amen.
In all of our services, we say a Misha Berach, a prayer of healing. In the inside back cover of our Siddur, the words of Debbie Friedman and Drora Settles, Misha Berach.
Misheberach avoteinu mikor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Our community is praying for the healing of Menucha bat Necha, Shlomo ben Rivka, Rivka bat Sarah, Yonatan Reuven ben Rivka, Lazer ben Chava, Yehudit, Bluma bat Sarah, Harav Chaim, Yaakov ben Pesha, Chava Fredel ben Irinoga, Naphtali ben Devora, Meir Yaakov bat Gitabraina, Shoshana bat Yehudit, Yehudit bat Sarah, Elia ben Mordechai, Yosef ben Devora, Zipporah bat Leah, Moshe ben Yehudit, Gabriela Irit bat Leah, Rabbi Alana Grinblatt, Greg Watson, David Gould, Andrew Jennings, Asa Luo, Al Sanderson, Shirley Rutkovitz, John Ogle, Ron Kadish, Diana Bafabril, Carl Weiss, Gary Engler, Jeff Lewis, Yitzchak ben Rochel, Lily Goodman, Olive Goodman, Avram Yaakov ben Sarah, Victor Goldstein, Adam Swartz, Sandy Ratson, Joy Rosenthal, Fega Meira bat Reitza, Pesa bat Bracha, Shmuel ben Sarah, Leib ben Kasil, Ronald Hartman, Rachel Votash, Batya bat Rina, Maybeth Smart, Harav Masha, Rachel bat Golda Leah, Penina Chaya bat Sarah, Larry Zolkowitz, Toby bat Miriam, Shani bat Rachel, Chanalea bat Alice, Eileen Malis, Miriam Garfield, Stephen Ross, Katrinka Schiffman, and Barry Perkin.
Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. Amen. Page 54, Kaddish Shalem. Amen.
Amadi vrakirte ve'amlich malchute b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedecho be'Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imeru. Amen. V'heshmei rabba mevorach ve'olam olam ve'amayel Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yirman v'yinaseh v'yihadar v'yidaleh v'yidhalal shemei dekudeshah Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'amal v'imeru. Amen. Tzid kabal soton uvaton decho Yisrael kadam avuon divishmaya v'imeru.
Amen.
Yesh lama rabba min shmaya v'chaim elenu be'oko Yisrael v'imeru.
Amen.
Hosei shalom b'imromav hu yasei shalom.
Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Those who are able, we rise as we say the words of Kiddush. Hannah, that's your cup. Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho yahava uvratzon tchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit yom tefila lemikra'ei kodesh Sefer letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu acharta Yotanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim Shabbat kadshecha Be'ahava uvratzon Yinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Hashavat. Amen. Chaim.
Drink it. What do I do?
Plenty. We give thanks to God for rain. Our voices join in the chorus as our prayers are pleased. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
B'tevon. We remain standing. We turn now to page 56 for the words of Aleinu. Let's face the art.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kegayeh haratzot velo samanu kemishpechot adama shelo sam chalkeinu kahem v'goraleinu kichol amonam anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim akadosh baruch hu shehu not hashamayim ve'oser haaretz umoshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'al u'shchinatu zo Megafei meromim Hu Eloheinu Einon Emet Malkeinu Efezulato Hakatu B'Torato Yadat Hayom V'Hashevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim Mima'al V'yal haaretz V'yal haaretz Mitachat Ein od Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai Le'melech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu Yehyeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad.
seated. Our community this week notes the yahrzeits of of Nancy Colton, Robert Kummer, Rosalind Gleimer, Betty Wexler, June Alter, Celia Gorman, Earl Lutzker, Bella Raskin, Morris Rosen, Joan Seltzer, Seymour Berger, Gail Cohen, Stuart Goodman, Rachel Senderfine, Ruth Sterling, Jay Frankel, Israel Regardi, Rose Kamen, Francis Levine, Max Natkowitz, Shirley Rabb, Shalom Shukartzi, Seymour Fisher, Fanny Gruer, Leonard Schulman, Louis Bronstein, Harold Lipman, Phil Marco, Sarah Rothman, Jim Douglas, Leonard Leon, Marvin Natlin, Elliot Winkler, and Pearl Whitkin. In addition, we're in Shloshim, this first period of mourning for Tomer Darvish, Sarah Orlin, Phyllis Nathanson, Shirley Davis, Arthur Sherman, and Ted Lieber. May their names, may their memories be a blessing for us, for those who knew them. Other names to add for tonight? Or is there anyone who has a yahrzeit who wants to share a brief memory of who they're here to say Kaddish for? Okay, all right. If you, Myra, come up. Well, that's nice. The same Marvin Netlin? Maybe. Okay. But how could be the same one, but how lovely to remember him when he was a laugh. What a nice thing to say. All right, well, we'll talk about it after services. It might be him. And if not, remember him. I remember one of my uncles during services all the time, although it's not his yahrzeit. That's very nice. Ali, do you want to come up here so we can hear you?
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Tonight's my mother's yahrzeit. My mother, Rachel Sender Fine, was born January 1st, 1928, unfortunately in Lodz, Poland. And she was about 12 years old, and she went to an all-girls school. She arrived one day to find a Nazi flag hanging down on one of the windows. She ran home, and her life and her family's life were never the same. She was the eldest. She had 3 younger brothers, and 12 isn't that old. But unfortunately, her parents with the little ones and her were separated. She survived with working on airplanes for the Germans. She ended up in Auschwitz, but the Americans had come to liberate, so she didn't get a number, but she did have the scars. And as a child, I remember things that must have been so hard for her to live with. And I remember things she said that were very upsetting to me when I was 10. And I walked up to her and I said, "Mom, I'm so sorry you lost your family, but I had nothing to do with it. And I'm here to help you carry on." And that's what she did. And my father knew her before the war. And she happened to be transported to Italy to recuperate after the war from Auschwitz, where she met my father again. And she had changed so much because of what happened during the war to everyone. She went from that tall, skinny girl with long braids to a swollen lady with no hair. But she saw him, and he comforted her, and he took her to a relocation camp to recuperate in Italy. And he had escaped to England. He joined the Jewish paratroopers for the Queen. And when his tour of duty was up, he went back. He helped his friends that watched her and took care of her have a wedding, and 2 months later they got married. And a few months later they moved to England, and that's where I was born. And then March 14th of 2017. She passed away at 89. And I hope that she's with her family now. And sometimes I feel things so strong that they really, not scare me, but they make me wonder about the afterlife. I woke up out of a deep sleep recently, and my mother was kissing me, and I could see her face. And I knew I was wide awake because my husband, Larry, was sitting next to me. He said, "Larry, did you see her?" And it was it was so unnerving, but not frightening. It was comforting. And I was very glad that I got to experience that. And I was told by someone that when you've lost many people in your family, or you missed it as a child, they find ways to reach you. So I felt very happy to have that happen. Thank you for listening. Shabbat Shalom.
Sure. Stephanie, you want to come up here? Okay, from there.
So my mom, Gail Cohen, it's been 22 years since she passed away, and I was 22 when she passed away. And it's going to take my breath away every time I see her name in the memorial. But Darren brought up a nice memory of her tonight, and you said that it was just coincidence that you happened to be at dinner and thought of her, and here we are for her yard site, which is pretty special. She used to help run the family services. It's much about now, but at the time it was called Family Services, and she was one of the people that started them. And so that was a nice memory. It reminded me of that. And I just remember also, like one of my other Jewish memories with her was getting ready for my bar mitzvah. And so I'd be practicing at the kitchen table, and she'd be cooking dinner in the kitchen. And we get to the part where I do the door, and she would just say, "Lenore, like really quick. It was funny. And that's a memory I'll always have.
Yeah.
So every time we get to that part of the service, I just think of that.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. And I just put it together that, is Abby named for her?
Yes.
That holds. I was like,
Never got to meet her.
sure. But carries on her legacy.
I just want to say about Lila's mom, she used to walk every day before she passed in front of my house, and I would go out on the driveway and sing Yiddish songs with her, Oifen Pripachik and Roshen Kismet Mandlin, and she was so lucky to have a daughter and a son-in-law as nice as Larry and Lila up the street. She really took care of her to the end, and God bless you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. On page 58 is the mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom. If you're in a period of mourning, if you're observing a yard site, you're welcome to rise and join with us in these hallowed words. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divra kirute, Yamlich malchute, Be'chaye chon uvyome chon uvachaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam v'olmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromnam v'yitnaseh.
V'yitadar
Alev v'yithalal. Shmei dekudasha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Shalom b'mamav, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru
Amen.
amen. You may be seated. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank you to Mariano and Cantor Kenny, to Bill, Cynthia, and Benny, and of course to Hannah and Rivka for helping lead our services. Tonight after services, we can go into Spiegel Hall for a little bite to eat. Tomorrow morning at 9:30, we'll have services in here and online. And tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we'll have Mincha services here and online Havdalah at 6:30. Sunday morning, as many Sundays are, very busy for us. In addition to all the other things, there's also a Hadassah program here. This week happens to be the anniversary of the founding of Hadassah. We're doing a Hadassah program here in Spiegel Hall. You're welcome to join. It is a game day and a boutique. You do not have to be a member of Hadassah to stop by and play and participate. In addition, on Sunday also there is a program for about the TV industry. You don't have to be in the TV industry to come and learn at 9:30 in the morning in the Wolfson. You can come to both the programs. They're not simultaneous, so you can come to both of them and come and learn about that. It'll be a fun thing. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, we have the babka bake. If you want to join a few dozen of your friends and make a babka, or a few dozen of strangers and make babka, or just come here and have all the ingredients laid out for you so you can have a really delicious babka at home. Babka. So you can come and join us for that. Men's Club Scholar in Residence is coming up. Purim is coming up. Purim is coming up, and Purim is coming up. Other big announcements, big things happening we should know about? What? So I don't announce the Shabbaton from up here because it's sold out. I know, we can't even talk about it anymore. It is sold out. We're so excited, and it'll be great. If you're interested, in a couple years, we'll do it again. Right, Karen? I don't know. Okay. Other big, anyone else want to share? Fantastic. We get to go home. On page, we get to sit here and have some cookies, just not the babka that we're going to have on Tuesday night. That's going to be really good. If you're able, we rise, we face the flag of Israel. On page 448 in our Siddur, the words to Hatikva, a song of hope for a day of peace in the future.
Od baleva enima nefesh Yehudi omiyah ufatei Mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia, Olo avda tikvateinu, Hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liyotam chovshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim Liyotam chovshim be'artzeinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat.